All right, so I figured it's gonna be Thanksgiving Day tomorrow. I'd do a quick Thanksgiving Day story. Some of you guys like the story, some of you guys don't. Hopefully you like this one. It's about a bug that was totaled out, and it was about my neighbor, not about my car. And it's pretty interesting, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. So anyway, my neighbor had came over to my house. He was my neighbor since he was 5 years old or something like that. And he came over to my house and he says, "Hey, I want to get a bug." I go, "Oh, good, go get a bug." He goes, "So yeah, I'm going to go get one. I'm going to buy it for whatever. I don't know how much he paid for it, but he ended up getting a 63, real nice little 63 straight car. Ran pretty good, of course needed the normal things, brakes were a little on the edge and, had to pump them a couple times. Always told him, adjust them. So I taught him a lot of stuff about V-dubs about the time, because he didn't know anything about fixing cars or working on them, which is kind of a disaster when you own a Volkswagen, right? So he's on his way home from work one day, and the guy in front of him turned on his turn signal and stopped all of a sudden, and he wasn't ready for it. Of course, he had to pump his brakes a couple times. So, and he didn't realize the guy was stopping. So instead of going to the right, which you'd think would be the right way to go, if the guy puts on his left-hand turn signal, you think that maybe somebody's coming and he's stopping because somebody's coming, right? Well, he didn't think about that. So he bolted into the left lane and, of course, hit the car that was coming at him head on and hit right here, across here. And, of course, he's okay. I mean, he got banged up pretty good. His passenger got hurt pretty good. But, I think he broke his arm or something like that. It was a pretty rough accident, but everybody was, okay. Nobody died. A couple dings in the windshield. The front end was bent here. And I promise this gets better as a little bit. So inside the car, the dash is a bit bent and stuff like that. So the next day I see him outside and he goes, wait. He goes, I go, "What are you going to do with your car?" And I said, "Man, it looks like it's pretty bad. When we can fix it." He goes, "Nope, not fixing it. Selling it. Or I'm going to get rid of it. It's totaled out." I go, "All right." So he goes, "What are you going to do with the car?" He goes, "I'm going to junk it. Take the engine out and junking it." I go, "Okay. So what about all the parts on the car? Do you care about those then?" No. Take all the parts you want." So I went over. I go, "Okay. All right." And again, I promise this gets better. So anyway, I go through the car, I take the turn signals, I took the fender beating. Anything that was good, if it had moldings, I took the moldings. I took the antenna. I took the hood. Well, the hood handle was broken, but I took the molding from the hood. I took the emblem off the front. I took the whole, every part I could possibly save. I mean, took the door handles off, took the door off that was good. I took the driver door was good, so I took it. I took every possible piece. I mean, I took all the dash stuff, all these grills, these things here, all this stuff, anything that was a radio blank or radio. I took the knobs, and I took all the wiring harness. I pulled the wiring harness out of the car. He's out there going, "Man, why are you taking all that stuff?" I go, "Well, you said to go ahead and take everything." I go, "Yeah, I'm just going to take it all." I took the ashtray. I took I pulled the wiring harness all the way from the front to the back out. I took all the stuff from here. I mean, all the little plate covers, the gas tank, and even the horn grills. Everything I could possibly save from that car, I took off the car. He goes, "What are you going to do with all that stuff?" I go, "Well, I'm just going to save it in case you never know." I already knew where it was going to go. But he didn't know yet. Okay? I took the windows, all the glass out. In fact, I still have the rear glass for that car in the back. Actually, I think it's up in the attic now. I took the deck lid off. I took whatever. I chopped pieces of metal off the car. The back apron, everything that was possibly savable off that car, I took off of it. And I could take off. There's stuff I took off that car you wouldn't even think would come off, and I took it off the car. So, about a year goes on. My neighbor Daryl says, "Hey Mike, I kind of want a bug again." I go, "I knew this was coming. All right. Kind of want a bug again. All right. Okay, cool, man." He goes, "Man, I don't have much money though." I said, "What you got?" He says, "Oh, I saved up now. I got 150. I go, "Okay, cool. All right, then just keep saving because can't get much for 150. He goes, "Oh, I know. I'm saving. So, comes around. I talked to a couple guys who knew where this body was. And this body, guess what it was missing? It was missing everything. So, of course, it had a quarter panel that was hit here pretty bad, and it was a semi-4 59 body and pan. All right, it was a body and pan, matching numbers, 59 semi-4 car. So, went over and talked to him, and got the car for $75 back then. It was because the quarter panel was pretty bad. A lot of people thought it wasn't savable. I didn't save the quarter off his car. I didn't think that I would need it. But I did save everything else. I mean, the door parts, all the rubber pieces for the door, the handles, and a lot of that stuff was missing on the car. So over the next year, or 6 months, Daryl was putting back his car together. And he took all of those parts that I took out and had in my backyard for a year. And within, I'd say 6-7 months time, he put the car back together. And I was really surprised. He put all this effort and time and everything and had total appreciation for it. In fact, while he was doing it, he worked on that quarter panel. He goes, "Hey, can you fix the bodywork for me?" I go, "No, you're going to fix it." And I gave him, some stuff, showed him how to do it. And he sat there and pounded that thing straight and, took filler and filled it in. It was a lot of filler on it, but back then we didn't care. We just wanted a running car. And he filled up the whole quarter panel. He fixed that. He fixed all the bodywork, got it all ready. It looked pretty nice. I mean, pretty straight. He got it all done. Got some primer, and every once in a while he'd go, "Hey man, can you spray these fenders out with me?" Okay, I'd go over and spray the fenders out. We put it in the driveway, spray a bunch of parts. He got it all primered out, ready for paint. He did everything himself. He did everything so much that his dad really didn't do much for him. His dad was like kind of involved with a lot of himself and stuff like that. So he was a little bit of a neglected kid. And he wasn't a kid, he was a couple years older than me, but his dad comes out and sees all this work being done in this car. And of course, the only thing he was missing is what? The engine, right? Because he sold it. I don't know if I told you that. He sold the engine out of the car, out of the other car. So his dad comes out. He goes, "Well, I think about all you need for this car is a motor." He goes, "Let's go look at some." And I was like, "Oh my God." So we went down and he got a brand new 1776 single port, because that's what the guy had. And he had, I don't know, we got our parts together and came up with some sort of a core and put a 1776 single port in it and drove the heck out of that car. He loved it. It was a great car. He had a great. So in fact, after his dad bought the engine, I ended up looking at everything he did, and I told him, I also went to the paint store and I saw this gallon of mismatch. It was a real bright blue, and I knew, man, I saw that color there and I went, man, this is Daryl's color. He's going to love this. He is totally going to love this. I saw it in the mismatch area. Got it for like $10 or $20 back then. That's what you could do. And I bought that paint and brought it home and didn't tell him about it until he was all done with his body work. He did all the body work himself. And I took it over the house. I said, "Okay, it's all right. we're going to paint it. He goes, I don't have any paint. And I go, I'll show you what I got. And I go in the garage and I bring out this bright blue, and he goes, oh man, that's exactly what I was going to paint it. He was like, that's the color I want. You know, I go, yeah, I already knew what you want. So it was around this time of year, you know, when we painted that car, you know, 30 years ago or so. And so I painted it for him. He took it back out, assembled it, put it all together, drove that car for a long time, for about a year. Then kind of an unfortunate situation happened. And this gets a little horrible from here. He actually was working on the car one day, and he had the window down like this here, like I got here. And the car had a bad transmission mount. So I don't know if you know what it's like when the transmission mount goes bad. If you step on the gas, you know, and you hit the torque of the car, the transmission kind of goes like up if the front mount's bad. And I was always telling him, change that mount, you know, change the mount. And he had it in like second or something like that. And he reached in, he didn't know, he thought he didn't. He reached in to start it, and he turned the key, and the car just took off going up the street. And of course he didn't want it to hit anything, because I don't think he had insurance at the time. And ended up running into a car that was in front of my house. And yeah. And what happened at the same time, he was reaching in the window with his head right near the top of the door, right here, if you can imagine that. His head was right here at the top of the door when he's reaching in to turn the ignition off. And the car, when it impacted, the door popped open and hit him in the head. And he lost all his feeling to the right side of his body from that. So needless to say, he was never able to drive the car again, and had a complete lifestyle change from there. Things got really ugly with him as far as, you know, life did, you know, for him. And he ended up moving out of the area. But before he moved, I actually took the car, well, actually, while he was still in the hospital, I took his car over to the house. And before he got out of the hospital, because I didn't know he wasn't going to be able to drive it again. Even if he did, I would have still done it. But I fixed all the damage to the front of the car, put it all back together. And when he came home from the hospital, the car was sitting in front of his house like nothing had ever happened to it. But that way, at least he could get a decent price for it. And he ended up selling it. I don't remember what happened to it from there. But it was kind of an unfortunate situation after such a really amazing story, but I kind of had to add that in there, just because it's reality. That's the real thing. That's what happened. So anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed that interesting story. Hope it didn't horrify you or anything like that, but it kind of tells you, make sure if your transmission mount's bad, replace it. You know, it can be dangerous. So a lot of things, if you don't do stuff right, take care of your car, make sure you don't leave loose ends like that, because it can get you. All right, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you comment.